Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanan Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Guru Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanovistam Purnam Radhadasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyam Rupamanjari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tuise Namaha Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismirahasara Murali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshavasacha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramu Ramo Ramo Hare. So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradatama Shri Guru Pada Padma Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudeva. And to my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And to my Shirupalo Gauriya Guru Varga, all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. So continuing reading from Sri Gopi-gita, today the verse 14th. Surata Vardhanam Shokanashanam Swarita Venuna Sustu Chumbitam Itara Raga Vi Smaranam Drinam Vitara Virana Ste Dharamritam. O hero, the nectar of your lotus lips increases the pleasure of amorous meeting, and it eliminates all sorrow due to separation from you. Your ambrosial lips are passionately kissed by your singing flute, and they cause every human being who drinks that nectar even once to forget about all other attachments. O hero, please make us drink the nectar of your lips. So now in this verse, gopis, they are glorifying the nectar of Krishna's lips. So the commentary of Srila Gurudeva Bhava Prakashika Vritti. All the words in this verse have deep significance. With two specific meanings, the word adharamritam means adhara, your lips, and take away that, amritam, and the nectar of your lips. Your lips have many wonderful qualities, the gopis tell Shri Krishna. They are nectarian, and their juice is nectarian as well. Please give this nectar to us. Although you left us here and we are dying, when we remember the nectar of your lips, our desire for surata increases. Surata means amorous pastimes. Surata refers to a particularly exalted state of prema in which the gopis desire to meet intimately with Krishna. This is called prema visheshamai sambhoga icha. They desire a meeting filled with kama. As explained earlier, su means in a special way, and rata means mixing together. Surata refers to Krishna and the gopis meeting together in a special way and relishing great pleasure. And in that meeting, Shri Krishna's Adharamrita increases this pleasure to a superlative degree. Regarding the word Surat, I cannot explain more than this. I have left practically everything hidden. So here Srila Gurudeva, he really considers the adhikar of the audience. So those who say that this book is very high, we should not read these things, actually they cannot understand that there are much, much higher things which we should not read, and therefore Gurudeva is not giving. So Gurudeva, he made it very clear, my books are all for all, despite of qualification. So if anyone criticizes saying, oh, why are you reading Gopi-gita? Why you are reading this and that? No, it's Gurudev's order. And whatever he gave us here, this is for us and we should take it. And what is not for us, he will never write, as he's clearly making this disclaimer that I cannot explain more than this. I have left practically everything hidden. What he means by everything practically? He gave us just a small piece, just a small drop. For us, it's too much already. We think that, no, we are like touching the sky by reading, about these things. But actually, this sky is unlimited. And, one day by realization. Actually, Gurudeva, he mentions several times in this book, by your realization, by your bhajan, by mercy, you will understand deeper and deeper. I cannot start like disclosing everything, right? Okay. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the gopis address Krishna as Dhanvantari, the incarnation of Krishna who brought to the world the medical branch of the Vedas known as Ayurveda. Oh Dhanvantari, they say, we are searching for the medicine that will cure the disease of Kama, from which we are dying. And we have come to you because we know you are the crass jewel of physicians. Please give us the particular medicine that can save us. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Surata Vardhana means that which increases Surata. Vardhana means to increase. Suppose someone has a disease and his doctor has prohibited the intake of certain foods. The doctor may have said, do not take tamarind. However, when the diseased person sees tamarind, he cannot resist it. And as a result, his illness worsens. Similarly, the gopis beseek Krishna to give them some medicine to cure their disease of Kama, while also acknowledging that the medicine would increase their disease. This is so beautiful. So what gopis want from Krishna is that Adharamrita. But if Krishna gives that Adharamrita as a medicine, the result will be that their Kama will always increase, because the cause of that Kama is the Adharamrita itself. Next line, Shokanashanam means that which destroys misery. Shok, lamentation, misery. The gopis say that all their unhappiness will be destroyed by Krishna's Adharamrita. How? The taste of his Adharamritam is so nectarian that it will make them forget everything else. When a patient is suffering so much that a painful operation must be performed, his doctor may give him an injection of morphine as an anesthetic. Under the influence of this anesthetic, the patient becomes unconscious and cannot feel any pain. Similarly, the gopis say, drinking the nectar of your lips makes us forget everything else, including our body and all sense of the world around us. And thus all our suffering goes away. But how will you be able to afford this nectar of mine? Krishna asks. It is very precious. I can distribute it to you all only if you're willing to pay a very high price. There is no justification for you to say this, the gopis reply. You are heroic when it comes to giving in charity. Near a person dying, there may be a compassionate onlooker who knows how to save that person and who wants nothing in return for his help. You are like this onlooker. You are watching us die. You have the medicine that will save us, and you can give it to us freely. So here in this line, the gopis are saying, oh Krishna, you are too, miser. Why you want to sell us something when we are about to die and you have so much abundant, medicine? Your medicine is unlimited. Why not give us this for free? The next is Swarita Venuna. Krishna fills his flute, Venu, with his Adaramrit. This increases swara, means nad or sound vibration. And therefore, the sound of the flute is called Venu nad. Every word contains a sound vibration, and the word klim is the very sound emanating from Krishna's lotus lips through his flute playing. The sound is not different from Krishna's Adaramrit, and when it emanates from his flute, the nectar of his lips comes through the flute and is heard as Venu nad. So here Srila Gurudeva, he puts one footnote for the word klim. I'm not supposed to speak this word, but as is written here, and Gurudeva, he says that when we are reading these things, then there is no problem in that. The definition of klim is understood by this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:29:3. Vanam chatat komal gobi ranjitam jago kalam vam madrisham manoharam. Shri Krishna saw the unbroken disk of the full moon glowing with the red effulgence of newly applied vermilion, as if it were the face of the goddess of fortune. He also saw the Kumud lotuses opening in response to the moon's presence, and the forest gently illuminated by its rays. Thus the Lord began to play sweetly on his flute, attracting the mind of the beautiful-eyed gopis. It was evening time. The moon was golden and full, and rising on the very reddish eastern horizon. The eastern direction is like the moon's beloved. It was as though by his rays, which are like his hands, the moon had taken a large quantity of red color and was decorating the face of the eastern horizon. Seeing this, Krishna at once placed his flute upon his lips and played a very sweet tune, Jago Kalam. That tune is included in the seed mantra Klim. Upon hearing it, Radha, Lalita, and all other gopis thought, he's calling me alone, no one else. So it continues in the next page, the footnote. The essence of the Gopala mantra is the seed Klim. Kalam, translated in this verse as sweetly, is a combination of two Sanskrit letters, Ka plus La. The fourth letter of the Sanskrit alphabet is called Vamadrisham, translated in this verse as the girls who have charming eyes. As the English alphabet begins with A, B, C, D, the Sanskrit alphabet begins with A, A, E, E. The fourth Sanskrit letter, E, with a long E, is called Vamadrisham. So even grammar, the essence of grammar, in this sound, Ka and La, combined with E, becomes Kli. And what is the meaning of the word Manoharam in this verse? Ultimately, Manohar is Krishna, he who attracts the mind. That same Krishna gave a portion of his quality of attracting the mind to Chandra, the moon god. The predominating deity of the mind is Chandra, and that moon has now taken the shape of Chandra Bindu. It means a dot. In Sanskrit, this dot is called Anuswar, and thus the word Klim is completed. By Klim, each and every gopi thought that Krishna was calling her alone, and therefore they all came to him. So this is from the Secret Sutras of Bhagavatam, chapter number 4. And it's interesting to note that recently I heard from Mukunda Prabhu from Alachua. He's a great scholar, devotee, He was saying that actually this so-called fifth note that Krishna plays is actually not one note. Fifth note actually is a combination of few notes that he makes different sounds going up and down. It's not only playing one note. He gives the whole explanation. I was not able to memorize it fully, but he says that in this way, Krishna, he plays different melodies, then he can combine those notes actually to call the names of different gopis. It's very interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the one commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that he mentioned. Okay, so let's come back here to the text. We finished the footnote. Yeah, okay. So this sound is no different from Krishna's Adaramrita. And when it emanates from his flute, the nectar of his lips comes through the flute and is heard as Venunada. This is why the gopis say, Swarita Venuna. The nectar of your lips comes through the sound of your bamboo flute. The flute is male, which shows that even males do not want to relinquish this taste. What to speak of ladies? That flute is just a piece of bamboo. It is male and it is without consciousness. Still, it always tries to kiss your lips and never wants to leave them. Krishna may tell the gopis, if a lady has contracted the disease of kama, she should avoid a diet which is unfavorable to her condition. Her attachments to wealth, husband, sons, sisters, daughters, and other relatives. Give up all of these, and then I can give you what you seek. The gopis reply, first give us your Adaramrita, and that will enable us to give up those attachments. The nectar of your lips has such extraordinary qualities that if anyone drinks it, all of his or her attachments disappear. This is also a very important teaching here. It's like what Krishna says is that first you should give up all your anarthas, then get bhakti. But that's not the process. Many people think like that. First, I will give up all my attachments, I will give up my anarthas, everything, then I will get bhakti. No, it's the opposite. Bhakti is like medicine. So at first you must get bhakti. If bhakti not appear, then how can you get rid from all these bad qualities and anarthas and attachments? So then gopis, they correct and say, no. First you should give us this medicine. And by that medicine, then we'll be able to give up all our attachments. So this is the proper process. Therefore, we should not consider our material attachments and anarthas and our lack of qualification for bhakti. We just should desire it. We just should go for it. That's the only way. Just do it. And this is the pathway for the Raganuga process. If you become afraid, if you always think you're not qualified, then you don't want to do it, then this is side of Vaidhi Bhakti. From that side, you cannot get Braja Prema, Gopi Prema. So this is all encapsulated here somehow. Itar raga vismaranam nirnam. Nirnam means of mankind or of human beings. The gopis say, all those who have tasted this nectar, both men and women, forget all material attachments and think, I must always drink the nectar of Krishna's lips. So there is no need for you to worry about our bad diet. This Adaramritam is not only a wonderful medicine, it also removes the inclination for any kind of bad diet. We realize that we have contracted our disease again, and for this reason we have come to you again to receive the medicine, because you are most munificent when it comes to giving in charity. We believe that you give us this nectar just to protect us. Here Gopi says Krishna is most munificent, means Mahavadanya. But actually he is not. Mahavadanya is Mahaprabhu because of the presence of Radharani. Because Radharani, she is Mahavadanya. So in this way, they're just actually using words which are like trying to convince Krishna, but in the true sense, is actually not most munificent. Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary is practically the same as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's. There is some speciality, however, in the way he explains the word Itara Raga Vismaranam, which with reference to the taste for sense objects in this world. In this connection, we find a reference to the prayer of Vritrasur in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nanaka prishtam na chaparamistyam na sarvabhaumam narasadi patyam na yoga siddhira punarbhavam va samanja sattva virahaya kangshe. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:11-25. Vritrasur prays, I have no desire for Swarga, nor do I wish for Dhruva's planet or position. I also do not desire Brahma's post, even though Brahma has enormous power. And beyond that, I am not interested in the cessation of birth and death, liberation. I do not want anything other than the service to you with my body, remembrance of you with my mind, and performance of your kirtan with my words. The gopis have a similar understanding. Those who take the medicine of the nectar of your lips can easily forget their father and mother, dear wife or husband, and everything else of this world. They can easily forget Swargalok and Brahmalok and everything else up to and including impersonal liberation or mukti. The nectar of Krishna's lips emanates through his flute and then enters the ear of the listener. The ear then becomes like a tongue, tasting nectar, and the listener is able to forget all worldly considerations. How much more blessed is someone who directly tastes the nectar of Krishna's lips. One who does not have this extreme good fortune, but just hears that nectar, is still very fortunate. Furthermore, if one cannot hear the sound of Krishna's flute, one may be able to hear about his pastimes. That person is also fortunate. The gopis hear Krishna's flute melody, and others, such as the deer and the cuckoos, also hear it. When the peacocks hear the flute, they stop all their other activities and begin to dance. And those who see these pastimes can also become free from their taste of anything else. The deer and cuckoos are indeed fortunate, but the most fortunate are the gopis, who can directly taste Krishna's original Adharamrita. It means directly from his lips. The deer and the cuckoos cannot relish this Adharamrita directly, but they can listen to Krishna's flute song. And there are others who can hear about Krishna's pastime. So here there are three types of Adharamrita already described, okay? The first Adharamrita is directly from Krishna's lips, the juice of his mouth. The second one is Krishna's, the sound of Krishna's flute. And the third is Krishna's pastimes. So these three are considered to be Adharamrita. Different living entities, they will get different types of Adharamrita. Like us, here we are only getting Krishna's Harikatha. We are unable to get the other two. They hear that Krishna is playing his flute and that all human beings, animals, birds, and other creatures in Vrindavan are hearing his flute song. As a result of listening to narrations of his pastimes, these persons too develop the ambition to hear his flute. So that's the result of hearing Krishna's pastimes, to also have the desire to hear his flute. They will certainly give up all desire to taste the forms and qualities of this material world. They will never want swarga or even liberation from birth and death. The gopis say, the nectar of your lips is so relishable that no one can criticize us for desiring to taste it. It is not only the ladies of Braja who are attracted to that nectar. Even a dry male piece of bamboo called Venu wants it. If a dry bamboo flute cannot give up this desire, what to speak of us? The nectar of Krishna's lips is not easily obtained. Ordinary devotees cannot have it, whereas Krishna's associates can get it through his Mahaprasad, such as the remnants of his betel, like tambul. He tastes the betel, and then in the form of his remnants, he gives them to his Adaramrita. He tastes puris, rice, dal, pakoras, and other preparations, and his remnants are distributed as Mahaprasad. These remnants are also called Adaramrita. So this is the fourth type of Adaramrita, Krishna's Mahaprasad, because he tasted that with his mouth. Only an advanced Rasika devotee can realize that the Mahaprasada is Krishna's Adaramrita. An ordinary devotee can certainly think in that way, but he cannot realize it. He may be conscious that it is Mahaprasad, but only an advanced devotee can actually relish it as such. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is Rasa itself. It is directly Mahabhava and Rasaraj. That is, it is directly Srimati Radhika and Shri Krishna. If after honoring Mahaprasad, we want to touch Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very heart of Krishna, we first wash our hands. But this rule is only for those practicing bhakti in this world. It does not apply to Krishna's associates in Goloka Vrindavan. Both Shri Krishna's book, which narrates his nectarian pastimes, and his Mahaprasada are he himself. So it means that in the absolute world, Goloka Vrindavan, there is no distinction between what is Mahaprasad, what is book, what is this, what is that. But in this world, we have to follow rules. And if your hand is prashadi, you should not touch any object, including any paraphernalia of Krishna, including Bhagavatam itself, which are, from another perspective, also non-different from Krishna, as well as that Mahaprasad, which is in your hand. But in this world, the rules are different, and you should first wash your hands. As Mahaprasada is Sri Krishna's Adaramritam, his singing or talking to anyone is also his Adaramrita. However, no one except the gopis can taste his original Adaramrita. The gopis are now weeping for this, and they tell, we are dying because we are not getting it. We may be satisfied by hearing the nectar of Krishna's pastimes, because no other type of Adaramrita is available for us. But the gopis want only the original one. Unlike others, they are not satisfied to simply take the remnants of betel leaf and other preparations tasted by Krishna. For them, his lips, adhara, are the amritam, nectar. Nothing else will do. So once you taste something higher, you don't want to go for lower tastes, That's the main problem, actually. What to say problem, like in between quotes, quotation marks, because it becomes a problem somehow, because if you don't get it, you become totally distressed. You not get along with like any lower thing. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that the gopis' three phrases, Surata Vardhanam, Shokanashanam, and Itara Raga Vismaranam, are all adjectives that qualified that noun, which is Adaramrita. So Surata Vardhanam, this ambrosia increases one's desire to drink it. It makes one hanker to relish it again and again. Shokanashanam. If this nectar is received, all suffering is destroyed. The suffering it destroys is the suffering of not seeing Krishna. If Krishna meets the gopis, they will taste nectar and suffering will immediately disappear. Itara raga vismaranam. Not only is suffering destroyed, but all kinds of worldly attachments disappear immediately. Srila Jiva Goswami further explains that this Adaramritam is the supreme goal of human life. There are 4 general goals of life: religiosity, dharma, artha, wealth, kama, sense gratification, and moksha, liberation. The 5th goal is Krishna Prema, Panchama Purushartha. And attaining this Adaramrita is superior even to that. So Adaramrita is superior even to Krishna Prema. In other words, it is the final objective for those who hanker for Krishna Prema. He gives this analogy. If there are many flowers in one place, the combined aroma of those flowers consists of the fragrance of each individual flower. But we cannot distinguish one fragrance from another. Similarly, Shri Krishna's original Adaramrita is very fragrant, as is the fragrance of the flute song that is the Adaramritam coming through the flute. Both fragrances are mixed so intimately that it is very difficult to distinguish one from another. Only a Rasika Vaishnava can do so. So this is a very important point. Is that one thing is the sound coming from the flute. That sound is not Krishna's Adaramrita. That is sound. Flute itself is another entity. It produces sound. When Krishna blows inside, when he blows, his Adaramrita is going through and mixed intimately with that sound. Just like milk and water, we can say, or as the example was given, like fragrance of 2 flowers, So very difficult to separate both things. Only Rasika devotees, they are able to distinguish what is coming from Venu, what is coming from Krishna. Another analogy may be given. We cannot separate milk from a mixture of water and milk. We taste both together as a single combined substance. But a swan can differentiate between them. The swan will drink the milk and leave the water. Similarly, Rasika Vaishnavas have the ability to distinguish between the nectar of Krishna's lips and the sound of his flute, Venunad. They will be able to taste both. Their enjoyment will double. So swara means tune, or more specifically, trembling tune. The melody is emanating from Krishna's flute sound, as if they are trembling, vibrating, and wavering slowly from the high notes to the low notes, and from the low notes to the high notes again. Anyone who hears this tune will faint. So here you can see Gurudev is saying from high to low, from low to high. Same as I mentioned before. And this trembling sound also is very interesting. Let's see what Gurudev will say. Why does the flute sound like this? It actually has no control over how it sounds. It is maddened by tasting the nectar of Krishna's lips and thus trembling. So the flute is in ecstasy also. Therefore it's trembling. Therefore sound is like trembling. So if you know how to play flute, you can make some type of trembling sound. It's like a technique, right? But Mukunda Prabhu, he also mentions one interesting thing is that when Krishna is calling Radharani through the flute and he's playing the notes, trying to make up her name so that sound can go to her and be heard by her, he also tries to whisper the name of Radha. So he's at the same time trying to blow air and play the notes, He's also trying to whisper Radhe, Radhe, like that. So therefore, that sound also comes little tremble, little broken, a little like strange sound, type of sound, like that. So the gopis tell Krishna, your flute song intoxicates the entire world. If that flute is so maddened by the touch of the nectar of your lips, what will become of us if we taste it? Actually, we have already tasted it, which is why we are totally maddened. Now you should come and restore our life, for we are dying without that nectar. So beautiful, this verse. Very, very beautiful, this verse. This is the end of the verse 14. And we're going to continue next time. Hare Krishna.